And that's why Genesis 26, that's why I'm going to end the first batch, the first session here. Genesis 26, 6 and 7. And Isaac dwelt in Gerar after he heard God. And the men of the place asked him of his wife, and he said, he lied, she is my sister. For he was afraid to say, she is my wife. Why? Because the men of the place may kill him and take his wife, because his wife is beautiful. What has happened? He understood the environment. He knew the people he was dealing with. So these people, they are mad people. They know they see fine woman. Even if now old woman, they know they care. He will kill me and take my wife. So he lied. So he understood his environment, understood the dynamics of his environment, and he acted accordingly until God came to arrest the king. So why do you need to understand your environment? Because the reality of your environment will determine your success. What you know about your environment will determine how you will operate, because it's your operating environment. I tell people, you see, when I became sick, the first thing I understood, and thank God COVID came before I was sick. From COVID, we started adjusting to online practice and business. So that online has helped me. I want to talk about some things that are personal at some point. That online has helped me. So I'm no longer running everywhere. I'm doing more business online than in the physical. So you know the reality of your environment, vis-a-vis who you are. Number two, do an environmental SWOT analysis. You know, you have done analysis of yourself. Now, you know, look at your environment and look at the strength of your environment, the weakness of the environment, the opportunities that are available in your environment, and the threats that your environment poses to you. Based on who you know about yourself. I'll be honest with you. If Richard starts selling recharge card there will be no problem in front of the church. There will be no problem. If I try, what do you think will happen? So people will not come and patronize me. You know why? Richard will be selling it under umbrella. Can I be under umbrella and sell? Is that local government boy who is always at the junction here that will go and tell them, Baba Olowo has started doing business too. They will just come here and carry your umbrella and go. Then the area boys will come and fight you. In fact, they will steal everything. I will arrest them, take them to police. What happened? After 2 weeks, if after 2 days, they will beg me, who is going to build them? I will be the one to build them. They will come back again. The police say, hey, Daddy, you two take it easy now. Maybe you have them as your children at home. So that's important. So you must do a SWOT analysis of your environment on the reality of the environment. What is the reality of that environment? Because there are some things that are real that are not real. Some things look real, but they are not real. Then understand what works and what does not work in your environment. Some things will work, some things will not work. And of course, interrogate the changes in your environment. What have changed in the last 1 year? The habits, the population, what we call the demographics. And I want to stop it there. Let me ask two people question. If you have a question, if you have any question, if you have any question, ask. Anybody has a question? You have a question or comment? Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Daddy, for the inspired section. So my question is, when your goals are dependent on somebody else's, for instance, we are thinking, okay, some of the things you mentioned that you have actually been teaching over years, look at your dependables. For instance, if you set a goal and it's dependent on, okay, you are looking up to somebody for support, for the actualization of that goal. Most cases, when that person you look up to is not forthcoming. Yes, today, one of the things I learned today is that there was a backup strategy that if it doesn't work, then, because I've seen that most cases, when your goal is dependent on, the actualization of that goal is dependent on someone, and when that person is not forthcoming, there's that possibility you jettison that goal because you see that on your own, even while you are setting that goal, you know that you can't achieve it on your own except that person or one or two people you are dependent on come up to support. So that has been a challenge. So that in that situation, will it be right? Because as human beings, yes, we are supposed to be very visionary. We look up to the future. So I shouldn't limit myself to what I think I can put together. The expense side, the income I think I have,
No, I mean,
in determining my goal. So the basic question now is, Daddy, if that goal set is dependent on someone or somebody or some people, and those people are not forthcoming, so what will be the alternate way of running after that goal?
okay.
That would be my first question. And the second question that is that in most cases, we talked about looking at our environment, studying our environment. We know ourselves, of course, and of course the environment. But Daddy, the dynamism of the environment today, it changes almost every second. And because of that changes, sometimes the changes can be rapid it could be rapid in a state that you would not even emphasize. And that situation becomes a challenge. Yes, you have studied the environment. Yes, there is a provision that the environment might likely change. But if that changes now comes at a rapid level beyond your expectation, what happens to that goal? How do we navigate it?
All right.
Thank you, sir.
It's very basic. All of us depend on somebody to achieve our goals. All of us. All of us, because there is nobody who is independent on earth. We are all interrelated, and we are also all dependent on the environment. And the environment is made up of people, land, assets, resources, but mainly people. The key drivers of any environment are the people. So we are all dependent on people. So that's why as you plan your goal, as you set your goal, you already have your plan B. And today people also talk about plan C. For example, it will be a stupid Nigerian who enters 2025 believing that the cost of electricity will not increase. Is a stupid Nigerian. And that's why we are saying, understand your environment. And we said, interrogate the changes in the environment in the last 1 year or the last 2 years. And now use that as a basis to project what will happen tomorrow. That's very important. Because if you depend on somebody, don't forget that anytime you depend on one person, whether your wife or your husband, you are your own. That means if the person is unable to deliver, you have failed. And that's why all of us become frustrated. I was expecting my wife to do it, she didn't do it, and I had no other plan. I'll be frustrated. Bitterness, hatred will come in. But I have come to understand over time in life that I don't depend on anybody. Ultimately, I depend on God, and I'm always telling myself, what if? Because there is a factor that I learned early in life, and that factor is the D factor. Death. People don't like to hear it. I'm a Christian. I always constantly think about death when I'm relating with anybody. In our church, last 2022, I had this deep vision that we are going to transform the building of the church. We are going to do everything is going to work. So I reached out to one of my friends who is an architect, very wonderful man, and I said, please help me come and do design. He said, where is the design? Yeah, I said, there is none. So he came here, measured the church, did everything, did design, everything complete. Now, at the point we were thinking of trying to start, we discovered that there was no even approval. So government was going to give us a fine of so much millions. In getting that, it couldn't work. First, my plan to do restructuring of church building was suspended. But guess what happened? Very painful. All the designs that man did, I was so excited, and I so much believe it will work. I was there with the staff and everybody. They were communicating on WhatsApp. Then the man told me he was going to do a surgery, but that was the time that there was a challenge in Nigeria. He couldn't travel. And before you know it, he had to do the surgery in Nigeria and he died. You know what happened? The moment he died, I quickly went to my phone to get all the designs. I can't access them again. And that's the first time I was, normally anything you said to me on WhatsApp, I send it to my mail. I have a mail that is my warehouse. I went to see, I didn't see anyone there. I tried to contact the staff. Of course, Oga don't die, everybody is up there. They said that project was Oga's project, so he was not handling it himself. So, end of story. So, you must, because that's death. He didn't plan to die. So, I want to challenge you today as you plan your life around a man, around your husband, around your wife. Imagine that the person can die. You are not wishing him to die, you are not wishing her to die, but the person can die. Those who died didn't plan to die. Those who lost their helpers didn't plan for their helpers to die, but the helpers died. Many things kill people. So that factor, that D factor, helps me to always say when I'm dealing with you, I have a backup system. It's a plan B. If you don't work, this other will work, this other will work. And I teach it in management. You can't run an organization with just official structure. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You must have your own core team. It's not as if you are trying to create a clique. No. Because it is only your core team who have loyalty ultimately to make sure that you succeed. Others may be doing it for salary. They will do it for promotion. If you don't promote them, they get angry. They will down you. They will still be coming to work, but they are not working. So that's one about that one. Then the other one about environment that is changing is the same thing. We say master your environment. Once you master them, you know things are always changing. They are dynamic. And because you know they're always changing, you too start thinking. When I was traveling, I was filling the tank of my car at 70,000 naira. But I told myself before December I will be filling the tank with 120,000. Yesterday I filled the tank. It was not empty. I filled it 94,000 naira. So I'm not. Am I happy? No, but I'm not shocked. I was always thinking you'll be 120 by December. We can be praying and all that, but there's also an element of being realistic, so they don't get messed up. So those are the things, because if you are depending on somebody, please understand the D factor. And that D factor maybe is too horrendous for you to manage, or it's too difficult for you to manage. D factor can be disappointment factor. Let it not be death. Anybody can disappoint anybody because that person may be depending on somebody else to deliver. And that's why the challenge will come. So I'm depending on you, you are depending on her, she's depending on him. Then he is depending on her. Now, you don't know him, you don't know her. I don't know all of that, I only know you. But look at your back, 3 other people. And the most important person is this young lady who does not know me. So she has no loyalty to me. So whatever she does, it is not ordinary. It's not ordinary to just send message to you. That's why Victor, you are worried. Well, Mr. Victor, now wow. That ordinary message is a destiny thing for me. I was telling one of my people who I mentor at the top, he just got a big job, big international job yesterday. I said, you know what happens? Quickly set up your own core team. Get a core team of about 4 or 5 people. And I told him, get this, get that, get that. He said, you're always ahead of everybody. I said, well, this is my job. I said, because you will need those people. He said, no, but I can reach everybody. I said, no, you need those core people because there are times that you need to deliver in 24 hours. And you don't need to set up an office for them. Let them just become consultant or consultant. You pay them as they go. So those are the things. Any other question or comment? I hope that answers the question. It's tough, but that's why you need to master your environment. And you can do a forecast. Basically, forecast in finance term, between 20 and 25%. That you should imagine there will be increase in price. I learned many years ago, when you plan that you are going to achieve something in 4 months, multiply it by 2. How many months? 8 months. You are planning for 4 months, but get ready for 8 months. And we've been saying over and over, if you know that you want to go on your own, if you employ the employment, you want to go outside your business, you must be sure you can finance yourself for minimum of 6 months. That's what they used to teach us in Lagos Business School. But guess what? The economy of Nigeria has changed that equation now. That 6 months salary that you have kept, you can finish it in 1 month. Bag of rice was 42,000 naira last year, November last year. How much today? Between 84 and 100,000. So that dynamic, that's why you need to understand the environment, that dynamic aspect of it. Let's go to the next slide. I hope any other person, that's well answered. Okay. Next slide. So we also need to understand the demographic. Next slide. The demographics. How are people on the demography or on the population thing? How many men, how many women, how many youth, even among the men, how many are old, young, whatever. Because you are going to be dealing with people. For example, I am beginning to learn how to do digital consultancy. Why? Most of you who have money now to spend, they are the younger people. There are people who are trying to move that. All these boys who suddenly are doing $1 billion business. I want to be there. I want to be their consultant. The people that used to do with their brick and mortar, you have to keep traveling. But these boys, they just sit in their office and they're making money. So I'm transiting to that environment now. So you must understand that demographic. How many young people, how many old people, even among the young, how many are behaving like young people? How many are behaving like old people? What is their fashion? What is their taste? What are their habits? Once upon a time, somebody was going to start, I think it's the Bruce family. They were going to start a cinema. And people said cinema business has died. Because in the 70s and 80s, you go to Sheila Cinema, you go to Odeon Cinema, you go to this cinema, different cinema everywhere. But they said they had died. And truly they died. But the man was visionary. Memory Bruce. He was visionary. He said they will go and start Silver Galleria at the cinema. And what he was looking at is that things were changing. The young boys and girls, they like to go out more. Some people go to cinema, they don't go and watch anymore. They just go there as outing. Or they go there just to eat popcorn. They don't even see the movie. They just want to leave home. So those are the things that you need to master, to understand what is not just population. No. What are for example, I said about even the death rate, the migration rate, what percentage of people are leaving your country? For example, it's very strange. Nigeria is a very strange economy. We say there's unemployment, and many people are resigning from their jobs. Have you not noticed? Most people are leaving, and over 100,000 doctors and nurses have left Nigeria in the last 2-3 years. Yet, there are still doctors who are looking for a job. Why? So it will mean that some people are not, they are underskilled. The skill they have is not relevant to where they are, or they are in an environment where the skill they have is not useful, or that their expectation is higher than what the industry can afford. So there's a mismatch between my skill and the job market. Everywhere I go, I always say teachers wanted, house girl wanted, secretary wanted, cook wanted, and I have a lot of people who know how to cook and they're unemployed. You understand? So it will mean that that cook who is staying there, who has no job, is because she is not going around to look for where they are looking for cook. People are still looking for employees. But what kind of position do you want to give yourself? How do you want to position yourself for tomorrow? All right. So this last one is master the economics of population density. And that's very important. Because you can master the dynamics, the demographics, you can master everything, but do you also understand the economy, the economics of it? How does money flow in this circle? How does money flow in this circle? These young boys are changing phone every year. They are changing phones every year. So that's why most people are going to phone business, they are always still making money. Why? Because more people are graduating into that gap, into that band. In our own time, when GSM first came out, if you are less than 30, you couldn't have afford food. But now, parents are buying for their teenage children. They are buying tabs. So you can see the economics of that population change. So you see more phones are still sold every time. And therefore, the accessories of those phones are still sold. In fact, some ladies have about seven packs. When they wear red, it is red pack. When what do you call it? Pouch. When they wear green, it is green pouch. So there is a market for those things. And of course, you want to ask yourself at that point, am I going to be selling to the masses or to a few? When I started business, I was doing SME to everybody come inside. But as I got older and I needed more money, I had to re-strategize. I said, no, all I need in a year is only 5 clients. All these having 500 clients and you cannot afford to pay your own school fees is wahala. So I decided to go up. But in going up, it will cost you to position yourself. You have to be more strategic. And that's why now, the target that I'm trying to set for next year, I've made it up to April next year. In fact, my major expenses by July next year, I've already made the money. Strategically. So what happened was this: at some point in my life, I decided to work 2 years ahead. I tried to work 2 years ahead. So every year I am just catching up. So when I'm setting my goals now, the goals I'm setting for next year, as a matter of fact, are technically goals preparing for 2026. Because the goal for next year already, the work for next year, I have done the work that will help me to generate income till July next year. I finished the work. So you see that when I'm setting goal for next year is 2026. So those things are important. Okay, so let's rise up. Let's rise up. Just go ahead and tell God this evening, help me to know myself. Don't forget that when I said you must own yourself. You must what? Help me to own my, what is that? So you are the owner of yourself. Help me to own myself. Help me to own my destiny. Help me, O Lord. Help me to know myself. Help me to understand my strengths, my weakness, my opportunities, and the threats, the things that are going to limit me. Help me to know them. Help me to know them. Tell God tonight, help me to master my environment. Help me to understand my environment. Help me to know the things that work and the things that will not work. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.